Okay, go ahead.
Well, your grandfather removed, you'd be the sixth generation, I guess. Name was John Hammond.
Yeah.
And he settled in what is now known as Bloomington, Kentucky, which is along the Licking River, about 5 miles north of Savage.
He was the first one to move there?
Well,
do you think,
as far as I know, that's all record I know.
Yeah.
But anyway, he owned a lot of acreage there, and all those level bottoms, he planted it all in peaches with the idea of making peach brandy to have a cash crop out of peach brandy whiskey. And when they bloomed, it was so beautiful there that the people that came through said, "Oh, this is blooming town." And later they shortened it to Bloomington. And his children, I don't know how many he had. I do know that my great-grandmother or great-great-grandmother was named Liza Hammond, and she married Martin Franklin. Liza and Martin Franklin had 3 children. The oldest one was a boy named John Franklin, possibly named after his grandfather John Hammond, and a daughter named Louise, and the youngest one was named Martelli for her father, which was my grandmother.
Oh, that's right.
And then Martelli married Bill Patrick, who was a veteran of the Civil War on the Union side. And they had 10 children, the youngest being Maggie Patrick, and she married Walter Isaac, which was my father and Melvin's father. So that would make you, I think, the 6th removed.
Yep, 6.
And he is buried, if you go to my father and mother's graveyard, which is up on the hill of what's called Bloomington, and if you look towards the river, and there's a branch comes down that goes into the river that you can see very well from that cemetery, and near the mouth of that branch is a high rise bank like. And there's where John Hammond is buried. And in that graveyard, I don't know how many, there are not too many graves in there, but I do know that there's a Civil War veteran buried there that has a marble tombstone. His name was Howard. I forget his first name, but I've read the tombstone many times. His last name was Howard. And I believe my grandmother said that he was from Missouri. But after the war was over, he was trying to get back home, and he stopped in there at a Reisner's place, and he developed typhoid, and he killed him. And they buried him there. And then the government later furnished a tombstone. So, Liza Hammond, which was his daughter, is buried in the same cemetery that my dad and mother is buried in. Not only is she buried there, but her sister is buried there, and her sister-in-law is buried there, which was Nancy Hammond. Mm-hmm. She was married to Jilson Hammond, which was a brother to my great-great-grandmother. And Martin Franklin is buried not too far from there, but over towards Lick Creek, up on the hill from where there used to be called New Howard Store. And that's where Martin Franklin was buried up there. And one of Fred's boys, Beach, was buried up there in Medford Cemetery. And then if you kept going on up that road to the mouth of Coon Creek, that's where my other grandfather and grandmother and also was buried. The Isaacs.
Oh.
The mouth of Coon. They're all buried within a mile or so of each other.
Because what happened to Bob Isaac? Because he died so young.
Appendicitis. He died when he was 24, 25. So he had appendicitis. He had a rupture. Back in those days, they didn't have a hospital close, and they finally took him to Jackson, but it was too late. And had peritonitis, the gangrene killed him.
But he was married, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had 3 kids.
3 kids.
Well, he had 2, and Another one on the way was born later.
Oh, after he died.
Yeah, she's the only one left. His oldest two are dead. Sam was the boy, and Zelly was the girl. They're both dead. Miss Ella, as far as I know, is still there.
Because he was younger than Pappy, wasn't he?
So,
Bob.
oh, he died in 1924.
Yeah, but he was young. Was he?
Younger, oh
He
yeah.
was younger than Pappy.
He's 7 years younger.
7 years younger.
Yeah, he was only about 20, I think 24 if I remember right.
Oh, when he died. And do you remember Sonny?
Very, very dim. I can remember seeing, I know he had a big mustache. And I can remember that, and I remember that he used to go out on the porch and he had a sheepskin out there that he would lay on. I can remember that.
A sheepskin?
Yeah, a sheepskin he liked to lay on because there's salt, you know.
Yeah.
And, but my grandmother partly raised me, his wife.
Oh, Sis.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, because you stayed at their house.
I stayed with her, yeah. Yeah, the day she died, I thought the world had ended.
Is that right?
Oh, boy.
And how old were you when she died? 1925. So you were 11.
Well, I thought the earth had ended.
So she was pretty sweet, was she?
Oh, she kept me. Well, there's a lot of things about it. She gave me everything I wanted. She was too good to me on that. Yet, if I can very distinctly remember that I'd be in the wintertime, the flu season and so on, I was afraid to cough. If I coughed, she'd come with a flannel cloth and a batch of homemade stuff made out of turpentine and kerosene and Vicks and all that. Yeah, I've got one of these Melvin gave me.
Did he?
Yeah, Melvin sent us a lot.
Does he?
Yeah, he sent us all the time.
I had never seen Thurman before. I've heard of him, but
He sent us
I knew of Thurman. Cub, I didn't know Cub's real name until Melvin got into all this. His name was Martin, I guess. I didn't know, I've heard of Cub. I never met any of them. I never met Thurman or German or Cub, either one. But I heard a lot through my daddy and one another talking about him.
Because you called him Cub, Benjamin.
Yeah, he went by the name of Cub all the time. Martin, I guess, Ben Martin or whatever.
Yeah.
He went by the name of Cub. All the Isaac generation called him Cub.
And he was Sonny's
brother,
elder brother, though.
Yeah, and he'd been married twice now. His second wife was sister to
Sis.
Yeah.
To
Mint.
Was your grandmother named Sid?
Well, she was Mary Ellen, but they called him Sid. And his name was, his real name was Samuel Hefford.
And so you stayed with Mary, because you lived next door, huh? Was that?
Yeah, but I went down there and stayed when I was a little boy. Mom said she got tired of going to chase. Every time I'd get out in the yard, I'd step off and go down there. Finally, she just let me stay. And I stayed down there. And then we moved away, went to Ashland, and stayed a year. And of course, I was away from it that year, but then we come back. And we moved down to Bloomington. Pop bought a store down there. And we moved down there and rented a house that he bought the store from Israel Adams and rented that home place. Israel moved away. And then I went back to staying with her because she was alone up there. And I went to school up there. Instead of going to Bloomington school, I went to one up there. And that's where I was at when she died. I was at school that day.
Oh, when had she been sick?
No, she just had a brain hemorrhage.
Oh.
Well, she didn't die that day, but when I come home from school, I looked down the road. As I was coming down the road, I see this big crowd of people in the yard and the porch. I wonder what was happening. So I went on down and I asked somebody what happened. They said, well, his grandmother's real sick. I said, I'll go and see her. They said, well, she can't talk to you. And I wanted to know why, and they said, well, she just don't. talk. She can't talk. But she died that night sometime. She never spoke again. Just had a complete. Today they call it an aneurysm, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I was trying to think of the word.
Then I read it with her.
Because you must have had a bunch of kids at your house by that point. When you were 11, you must have
Yeah,
had.
she was Garnet was the baby when she died.
So Garnet didn't remember.
No, I guess Emery. If I was 11, Emery'd have been 9, Eldie'd have been 7. Edith would have been 5, Norris would have been 3. Garnet was
The baby.
the one was.
So yeah, you probably did enjoy staying with her. Escape all those women, all those
Well,
girls down at your house.
She was always a baking cookies, and she used to make me a half moon pie, out of dried apples or dried peaches, and roll the dough, you know. Bend it over and make like a half moon and fry it, fried pies. Beautiful, good. She was always making something good.
Were you her only grandchild at that?
No, she had a bunch. But I was the only
They didn't live around, did they? Because there's,
Well, I was the only one that stayed with her. Well, Emery stayed with us, but not near as much as I did.
do you have one of those?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got one of these. It's me and Mom and Pop.
I've got that out there before, yeah.
Yeah, she got it out there in the frame.
Well, I brought an extra one if you want to give it to one of your
Okay.
kids. And I brought these for you too.
Oh, I love this one of these extras. Well, that's him. That's funny. There's Mo when she was young. That's Mom was a good looking woman.
Now, there was some discussion about that house you and Mammy and Pappy are at.
Oh,
And
this
what?
house?
Yeah,
That belonged. That's the story behind all that. Your own mother kind of fits into that part.
oh, that's the bit where Pappy stole her land or something like
No.
that, I guess. Or
No,
not Pappy, or
no.
Sonny,
What
right?
happened? See, Sonny came down from Knott County, and he bought the farm where that house is on. But he bought it from John Tom Howard,
Mom's grandpa.
or great uncle. Her grandpa was Scott.
Oh, that's right.
But he bought this from John Tom Howard. Well, Scott owned the next farm above that up there, but John Tom owned this. Well, Sonny bought this farm, but he didn't move down there at that time. He just bought it and rented out people to grow corn for him and so on. And he still stayed in Knott County. Well, later he decided he wanted to leave Knott County and was going to Texas.
Oh, the Texas.
Yeah, him and Pop come down there he come down to visit a little with Sherman and Sherman. Sherman lived there. And Sherman lived over like Fort. So he come down and visit them for Texas. And Pop said they was laying there in the bed that morning, hadn't got up. He said him and Grandpa Isaac was laying in one bed, and Sherman and his son Bill was laying over the other. And said, Sherman said, Sonny, he said, instead of running all the way off to Texas, said, you've got this farm out up there. I said, why don't you sell it and let me sell you this farm, which puts them together. You'll have one big farm. See, there's just a creek run between them. He said, let me sell you this, and then you can sell your farm up in Knott County and come here, and you can not be so far away from it. So we got to talking. And Pop said they made the deal, laying right there in the bed. And said they decided to do it, and said, German told Bill, said, Bill, get up and you and Walter catch the horses and go and get Ike Howard and bring him down to make the deed. And he said that's the way it happened. They bought the farms. Then Sonny went back to Knott County and he sold the farm up there. Sold out both. He had up there in Knott County.
Where was he living in Knott County?
Right in the head of Beaver, right in the very sprig head, the last house before you go up the hill to Beaver Gap. On the right hand fork of Beaver. And I've got a story for that too. Years later, my pop never went back to Beaver somewhere. After they moved and got the moving all done.
Cause Pappy grew up down there then, huh?
No,
Went to
I
school
think he
there?
was 17 or 18 when he came down there, but he married down there. Well, but anyway, he just happened to never go back up there. It's not that far away. Well, if you had to ride a horse back then with a car, now you can go up there an hour and a half. But back then, so he never went back. Well, later, not too many years before he died, I mean, he's been dead. But anyway, I guess he was in his 70s at the time. Kept saying he'd like to go back and see the old place. So Basil said one day, he said, okay, let's get in the truck and go. And I was down there with him. He said, come on, you go with us. I said, okay. So we got in the truck and we headed out. And we went up Licking River, out the head of Licking over Beaver and all that. Basil said, now you'll have to tell me when you get there, Pap. He said, oh, yeah. I said, well, you know it? Oh, well, son, you know it. Born and raised, rode up there, a man on the left there. You know, I know it. He said, okay. He said, it's on up Beaver. We kept going, but he said, you ain't seen it yet? No, when I see it, I don't know what to worry. So they built a big railroad through there then. And this highway, Blacktop Highway. The highway took up what little bottom strip they had there, and the railroad was running, grading up the hill to go across the top of the mountain. So we come to this big trestle, huge trestle where the railroad had to go up, you know. And we started up the hill. Babe said, Pap, ain't you seen it yet? And he said, no. Well, Babe said, I got news for you. He said, we're out the head of Beaver. He said, we're going up the mountain here. We'll be across the next creek. And Pop got to look and said, stop the truck. He got out and he was talking. And he said, I don't know, gentlemen. And said, I guess we are up in the Beaver Gap. But he said, I don't know how we got by my home place without me knowing it. So, well, let's go back. So we come down off the hill. There's an old house sitting over that side of the road, and a little small like barn over there, a log barn. But up on the other side of the road, there was an old man sitting there under an apple tree and had a house there. Pop said, let me ask that old man if he knows where the Sonny Isaac place is. So we parked, got out. Pop said, Mister, he said, I'm kind of lost. Said, could you tell me where the Sonny Isaac old home place would be in there? Yes, sir. He said, that's it right there. And Pop turned around and looked at it. He said, well, that sure don't look right. Well, he said, that's it. Well, Pop said, I thought we had a great big barn. He said, where's it at? He said, sitting right over there, a little old barn. And mine through the years, everything was great. So Pop looked around and he said, well, I didn't recognize. He said, what is your name anyway? I'll never forget that. He said, what is your name anyway? He said, I'm Columbus Hall. I said, who are you? Why, he said, I'm Walter Isaac. He said, Columbus, we went to school together. And he run over shaking hands. Columbus said, yeah. And Pop said, well, I didn't know you. He said, you've got old. Columbus said, well, what in the hell do you think's happened to you? Never will forget that. So what in the hell do you think's happened to you? You called me old.
You're old too.
Yeah.
I guess Pappy hadn't been there in 50 years.
Yeah, he hadn't been there. He didn't know a thing about it. But he was embarrassed. He couldn't.
Isn't it funny how
Yeah.
things seem so huge when you were young?
Yeah, that's the truth.
So Sonny's family, was he born in Knott County? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think he was. I think he was born up down the creek from where he lived.
Where did he get all the money to come and buy that farm? How did they get so
Well,
much money?
of course, back then, $1,000 for the farm, you know, everything. But he had been a deputy sheriff and collected taxes for the county, Knott County. I think Pop said 7 years he collected the taxes. You know, and he got a salary out of that. And he was pretty shrewd. He traded, and he had a lot of timber. He'd sold some timber. Anyway, he bought it all, and then he sold the farm. And, they all moved down there. Well, when he moved down there, and two of his daughters lived on the place he owned on Beaver when he sold that place. And Dooley married Matt Mead, and she lived up one ranch there. And up this ranch, Aunt Dinah married Henry Bates. She lived up there. So he sold it out from under him when he sold the farm, you know. But he told him, he said, I've got houses in McAuliffe. And they said, well, they moved too. So they came down, and then Matt Mead and Dooley moved in the house over there at, well, it was the mouth of the ranch where the main mine used to live. And it's across the street from where the main house is. And then,
Is that where the Coon and Lick?
Huh?
Is that where the Coon Creek
Yeah.
is? That Coon Creek comes in?
then Henry and Dinah moved in this house here. That you see here, where I'm down.
Oh, Henry and
And
Diner live there. So is this the house you're talking about? That house?
No, this is house on Beaver. This is where Dooley and
Oh, that's where they lived before.
before they come down. Now
Before
these,
Sonny
I know
sold
every
it.
one of these here. That's Matt Mead, and Dooley, and Zeddy is the oldest one, and there's Lee,
How do you spell Zeddy?
huh?
Oh, Zetty.
Zettie, I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
Z.
And Lee, and Frank, and Patsy. But that,
Not Patsy, you mean Dooley. Oh, Patsy is the little baby.
yeah,
Oh, she named her baby.
She was named for my Aunt Patsy.
Oh, okay.
And Lee was more named for my Uncle Lee, brother's pop.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
You can have that one too. I made an extra one.
I want to see that.
Here's this.
I want to
If
see
you
that.
want to keep those in.
Dooley family.
Yeah,
So,
I'll see if I know.
so it was
I did see Doodle do.
Zeddy
Yeah, you seen Dooley.
Zeddy was the big girl,
Yeah, the oldest one. She
And-
made Will Nichols,
and Lee is
the biggest boy.
this
That's
big boy
pretty.
here.
Who's this man?
That's Matt Mead, nice looking man.
And which one is Frank? Is he the
The
baby?
little boy standing Matt's knees down there.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a girl, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the baby.
Patsy is a girl. Now Zadie married Will Nichols, and Lee married Will's sister. He married Julie.
Because,
But she had more kids than this, didn't she?
Yeah, she had Laura and Jesse, Laura and Jesse.
Roy and Jesse. But they moved away then? They moved.
Moved to Waverly High later.
Oh, but this is on.
Now Matt died there. He
This is
never-
on Beaver Creek.
Yeah. They moved down to McAuliffe County,
Yeah.
and that's where Matt died, was down there in McAuliffe.
Oh, he died in McAuliffe? What happened to him?
Pop always said he thought he had pneumonia, but he'd been clearing out a lot of land up there, cutting timber and stuff and cleaning off and working hard and sweating. And of a night they'd go out and wade the stream and kill fish, you know, having cold water. And he got sick and Pop said he had pneumonia. He found it. Then Dooley and some of them said that Dr. Sesko gave him the wrong medicine, killed him, but I don't think so. I think he did. Possibly. But anyway, he died in a few days after he got sick. And then his dad had him took back to Knott County and buried up there.
now who's Matt Mead?
He was doing his husband.
Oh,
It was Frank and Lee and that's their
and
dad.
this is Dude.
Yeah.
She looked strange. Did she really look that strange? Maybe it's just the photograph. You know how people always look so stiff in the old photographs.
She probably stiffened up when they had the picture.
Picture
of the
taken.
family.
So
She was
you,
awful good hearted doing that. She was right.
what year did you think that was taken?
They moved, I think Pop told me that they first moved grandpa and grandma's things all around in 1907. And then they moved,
In 1907, Sonny and Grandma moved to.
yeah, and they moved, I don't know whether it's the same year or the next year. That picture probably was made a year before they went down there. That picture might have been made about 1906 or something.